Hey,
all girls are
Hey,
nice.
we need somebody with the
Well,
sincerity.
all
So
girls
we
can
need
love
to
the
see
weed.
and that we can get to that place.
Hey,
it's 5:30 right now, 8:30 on the
we
East Coast,
live.
and we got a good we got a good show tonight. We got a great show tonight. Actually, we're gonna be talking about 5 ways where you can get into a home with zero down. So your mama is on here. Hey, Miss Charlene. Miss Charlene. I love Miss Charlene. Hey, Jenna. How was Florida? I'm going to go through, make sure I give all my shout outs. You know, it's a few names on here that I'm not familiar with, but I'm just so excited that y'all was able to join us tonight. What's up, Charity? Join us tonight for our final wind down before we shut down, take a little time to just kind of figure out how we can make it better. So I'm excited to be doing this today. It's going to be a very good show. You still got a few minutes to go get your friends on. What up, Auntie? What up, Gassens? Hey, what's going on? Lanisha, I'm happy to see you. A beautiful picture of the family today. Happy to see that too. So, Trey, you had a good weekend, I see. You
Went
was
outside for a little while, I'm the only person that'll go all the way to a casino and don't even really gamble.
Where y'all go?
Harold's Casino in Murphy, North Carolina. Yeah.
Oh,
I
okay.
recommend.
Okay. So Angel's updated now. Hey, you still got time. Let your friends know we are live. We are live. Thank you guys for being here. I'm so excited about sharing this topic with you guys. We was looking forward to doing this topic in February, and bear with me because I'm trying to still get Angel added. She's going to be our special guest host today. But the guest is asking, hey, Katrina. Are you flirting? Oh my God.
I know. Hey, girl.
Hey.
Yeah.
Good,
Good
to
to
see
you
you.
I finally made it. I made it to the wind down.
She done made it, and we done threw it in the pot.
Lord,
yeah.
As soon as I start,
You got something to say.
She ready.
I like glasses, boo. Yeah, send them in the mail.
oh, you said
They're
my
cute.
glasses? They blue blockers, but I have a eye condition where I get like a dry eye and my eyes start turning red and everything bothers it. So I put them on, but that ain't the point. Hey, y'all got time to get your people on the line. Let everybody know we are live. We are
hey, y'all.
live.
Hey, WineDown family.
What up, Angel?
Thank you.
You looking good.
You know what I'm saying?
I see you over there.
My mom here, so I had to, make myself look presentable.
I see you over there. Yeah, Miss Charlene. She ain't gonna accept nothing less. She ain't gonna accept nothing less. Yeah, but I'm excited to be here tonight, y'all. We got some special information lined up tonight. We're gonna be talking about what we talking about? Oh yeah, 5 ways for zero down payment housing. It's a lot of people who feel like getting into real estate is just so far-fetched and it's so hard, and like I always say that people the dream is not attainable, but it is attainable. You just need to know the tools, and we're going to share a lot of those tools.
I'm feeling
tonight,
all right,
so I'm excited. How y'all feeling?
Glad to be
How you
here
feeling,
with
Angel?
you guys finally. I tune in every week, so I'm happy to finally be able to say something besides typing something. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Yeah.
We'll type something. Well, we excited to have you here. Trina, how was your weekend?
Nice.
You was telling us a little bit.
I had a good little weekend, a little situation or whatever. It was nice.
If you follow Trina, you seen it. If you don't follow, you missing out.
Listen, you gotta catch the story because it ain't going on the post.
24 hours. You got 24 hours.
Got my little sidekick with me today. Got a little
Not the port.
Taylor.
What you got?
Taylor.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. I've been on Taylor for about 4 or 5 years though. TikTok has made it public and knowledge, but this
That's
been
been
my
your ride.
rider. Right.
Okay then.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for those of y'all that don't know, Trina is a TikTok editor and content creator. So get with Trina if you're trying to create
There
some
you
new
go.
content for your TikTok. Make sure you following her on TikTok. See what she got going on. And she's also an Amazon influencer, and she also is a content creator. So, and she's also she's also in the banking industry on multiple sides of the what you call it, the table. So a lot of information, what the knowledge, I'll say, Trina.
Had to say.
What up, no? People been
The
sleeping on
bartender
Taylor.
know. The bartender know. Go ahead. Get me a little special party pack and go and ship it to me. Let me know. If you really trying to flirt,
Getaway, ain't no wine. What up, Bella Beats? That's my girl. She used to do she was on America with me. She used to do my makeup, went out, got married, doing great things in Texas. So I'm excited you finally able to join us tonight. Again, for those of you who don't know, this is going to be the last wind down before we take our summer hiatus break, so that we can come back and give you guys a better, we want to make it better, and also just kind of get some organization in my life. So, yeah, so I'm kind of sad, but I know that when we come back, we're going to come back with a bang. It's going to be a great show. So, yeah. Without delay, though, I want to introduce Angel to the WineDown team. I know everybody already know Trina, but people haven't met Angel. Angel is one of my closest friends out here in San Diego, active duty Navy, and is very, very familiar with the VA loan. She's purchased multiple homes utilizing that program, and she definitely have an amazing story to share with you guys on how she started to build wealth through real estate. And one good thing, well, not good thing, but one thing about Angel that me and her both connect with is where she grew up. She's from Chicago, Illinois. So it's not like she came from a wealth of money. And that's what I think is important to share today, is like, we didn't come from a wealth of money. And we're able to teach you guys still how to utilize these techniques and tools that we're going to talk about today, and start to enhance your life and the life of your family.
Thank you.
So,
thank you.
Angel,
So
what up?
I need
Welcome
to introduce myself again. I am Angel. Like Rose said, I've known her for quite a few years now. We've shared a lot of experiences. She did help me purchase my second home, which was an amazing feeling. Not to be able to purchase one home, but purchase another, house. I will say that when I bought my first home, it was intimidating. I didn't think that, I would qualify because of, the stereotypes coming from where I'm from, no money, credit is, all right, you know what I'm saying? But, with good friends, grace of God, I was able to go ahead and make that purchase and invest, like I like to say, in myself. So very excited about that and happy to share my experience with VA. And then also a little bit, because my mom, right, my purchase helped my mom with her purchase. So, just the information that I gained from that. So excited to share that story with you guys as we go through. Okay.
So, Angel, we go a little deep on the wind down. So, before we really get rolling into the 5 ways, can you go a little bit deep in your story? Because it didn't just start with you just using the VA loan, which we're going to talk about what that is and what that looks like. But how long? Let me ask you this.
So I purchased my first home in 2014, right? So my friends around me, they were established, right? They had a house, and I didn't think that I would be able to do something like that because I call myself new money, right? I just had a little bit of money in my savings account or whatever, but not enough to ever think that I could buy a house, right? So I purchased in 2014. It was a process, right? It wasn't easy. I had to pay off creditors and do all this other stuff. I kept that home until 2017, and then I got a return on my investment. So the return on the investment actually worked out for me. You know what I mean? I cleared about $80,000, which is an amount that I never thought I would see in my life. You know what I'm saying? So that was great. And again, I cashed out. You know, California, you live to rent here is very expensive. So, you know, the cash out for me was like, all right, I did this once. I said I can do it. I'm going to put this money to the side. When I get out, you know, I'm going to go and buy a house in wherever I want to go, Texas, wherever, right? So, okay, fast forward 2017, I leave, go on deployment, you know, save a little bit more cash. I got my little 80,000 in the bank, and then I come back, right? Rent prices are high again. So I'm like, okay, I was paying $1,800 a month for my mortgage. Rent prices now are like $2,100, $2,200, $2,300. I'm like, there's no way, right? If I'm gonna spend this much money on rent, I might as well invest in myself again. So that led me to my second purchase, you know, brand new, built from the ground. And I took the lessons from the first one and I moved it into the second one. And again, no money down, thanks to the VA loan. Proud to serve. So.
So
Yes.
basically, in 3 years, you was able to buy a house,
Yes.
sell that house, paying less money that you would have been paying on rent, and still was able to clear $80,000 that you were able to
Right.
start
I
to
was able to
build
clear that
your
money, put it
wealth
in the bank, and
with,
then
right?
even with the new home that I purchased, that I'm in now, I never touched the $80,000 that I made off of that home. So, you know, I still feel like it's another investment. So when I do live here, you know, prices going up and stuff like that, it'll just continue to grow. And then the lessons again from this place, I'll take to wherever I go to, you know, purchase my next one, because now it's kind of like a sport, you know, now. So.
Yeah, once you get into it, and like the best thing about, like we talk about the VA loan, we're going to talk about a different other loan products and opportunities, is when you go into these houses and you buy your first house or whatever, utilizing a down payment assistance program, sometimes
Right.
you don't even have to, you come out of pocket any money. So if you was to go into an apartment, sometimes they want you
Exactly.
to put down 2 times the rent for a down payment. And moving into a house, sometimes you don't. Now, I'm not saying all the time, everybody's scenario is different, but I will say that my last 3 clients that closed January, February, and is about to close this month, April 3rd, zero, they got all closing
Mm-hmm.
costs paid, got incentives, so it just depends on time in the market and just having the right information. So yeah, thank you for sharing
No,
that,
I
Angel.
know I
Do you
purchased
know
at
about how
around
much your house is
450.
up now?
So the last time I checked, I was in the 600s with what the house is worth. So that was in
Yeah. And
last year,
that was in
2022.
what
I
year?
verified. I purchased in 2019. So yeah.
Yeah. So in about 3 or 4 years, you're already up almost
Right.
175,000, because I'm familiar
And
with that area, so
and
I can
also,
tell you. Um, and
no, I haven't
you haven't
done
done nothing
anything,
to
no upgrades, no
either one of the houses
renovations.
that you own.
Matter of fact, I don't know if I should be putting this out here, but I left for a year and went on deployment and stuff like that and actually rented my place. So it was about a 2-year gap when I wasn't even paying the mortgage. Somebody else was paying it for me. So uh, yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Gems.
Yes.
Yes,
Of
I
course,
love it.
of
I
course.
love
So
it.
you, I mean, I
So
share my
thank
story.
you,
So now I
Angel,
just want to
for
ask you
sharing.
like a few questions, right? So, what actually got you into real estate? What inspired you to become a realtor?
So the same story, actually. It's kind of funny. You know, I grew up And people who know me from Douglasville. They know, like, we were all over the place. Me and my family was split up. You can almost say homeless, but we always had somewhere to lay our head. It just might not have been our place because we were staying with people, sleeping here and there, grandmama house, auntie house. So I didn't always have a stable housing environment, right? When I came to California, so back up in 2018, obviously we started seeing the whole HGTV renovations and the market crash. Everything looked crazy. About 2010, I called a realtor off of one of the signs that I seen outside of a house. And when I called, the lady was like, hey, are you pre-approved? Because you're not pre-approved. And like, was just rude, like just like that. So I ended up hanging up the phone. And it intimidated me because I didn't even know what being pre-approved was, what it meant. I didn't understand none of that. So, but I did know that I wanted what I was seeing on TV. It just seemed like it made sense, right? And the opportunities was there. So we moved to California in 2013. We was renting 2014, 15. We got this, we was in the apartment. Of course, they come trying to raise our rent like $350 or something like that. It was crazy. And right across the street from where my apartment complex was, they were building a new townhouse community. So I talked to Nina, was like, hey, let's go over there and see what's up, right? She's like, no, you know, she was nervous. I think that situation intimidated her too. But we walked across the street and we talked to the new construction home loan people, and they got us in the house. We ended up not paying any money out of pocket. So when we bought we was in the apartment, we walked across the street and the house was bigger. We was moving from a 3-bedroom to a 4-bedroom. We was only going to be paying about $80 more, everything included, HOA, Melrose, all these things, more than what we was going to be paying in the apartment with the new prices. So we was like, let's go for it. I mean, we get the tax benefits, we're paying off the loan, and we're going to have to pay it anyway. Well, we had that house for about 2 years, and we sold it, and we cleared $80,000. And we moved into, actually, we made $80,000. We cleared about $65,000, was what we got to put in our pockets at the end of that. Again, at that time, I still didn't have financial literacy. I understood, like I had good credit, but I didn't understand like really what to do with my money. So that money probably lasted about 30 seconds. And it was gone, but we did buy another house and we bought other properties since then to help us build. And the reason why I got into real estate, that was your original question, Angel, I'm sorry, was because when I bought that first house, I got to see how easy that process was and how all the fear that I had. I know that a lot of people share that same fear, and I wanted to share that. And the reason why I got into teaching real estate is because when I sold my first house and I seen how much money I made just doing what I was going to be doing anyway, not to mention the tax benefits that I had. I'm sorry, I got like a piece of lint on my face. It's bothering me. But not to mention the tax benefits that I had, I wanted to make sure that I shared that information and hopefully inspire people and help them be able to get into the industry and get assets. So that's why I
but
do
a good story,
what I
you
do.
know.
Sorry,
Few
that was a
gems in
long
there,
story, but
right?
yeah.
Okay. So I know tonight we plan on discussing like ways to not have a down payment for our house and stuff like that. So if you want to go ahead and we discuss those 5 things so we can let the people know.
Yeah. So before I talk about the 5 ways, I kind of want to talk about the differences between down payment, deposit, and closing costs, right? Even though a lot of the programs that I'm going to talk about do offer closing cost assistance as well, when you go into a house, just because they're going to cover the down payment, because most loans require a down payment of 3.5% if it's FHA, 5% or 3% if it's conventional, don't necessarily mean that they're going to cover the closing costs. So with closing costs, you want to at least have 2%. You can expect closing costs to be between 1% and 3% of the total loan amount. So depending on where you live, if you're in Georgia, let's say you're looking for something about $200,000, you at least want to have $4,000 to $5,000 saved just in case you have to pay closing costs. Like I said,
Mm-hmm.
closing costs is like the fees, the lender charges, title fees, escrow fees, just different fees, because it's a lot of people whose hands are on this transaction, which is another reason why I got into real estate, because there's just so many opportunities in that profession. But so that's what closing cost is. It doesn't, so when I talk about these down payment assistance, it doesn't necessarily mean that closing costs will be covered, but closing costs is not a whole lot in the grand scheme of things when you're talking about $4,000 to buy a major property. And that money can be negotiated. Like I said, my last few clients, and I'll say 4, because
Mm-hmm.
in my December client, they didn't pay any closing costs either. So it can be negotiated in the loan, different ways we can make it work if you don't have the money. But you know, just expect to have 2% of whatever the purchase price amount is that you're going to need. And then the deposit is typically when you get ready to write an offer on a house and you're asking somebody to take their house off the market for you, to basically stop trying to sell their house. They want to make sure that you're serious. So they may require you to put just some money down to say that I fully intend on closing this loan as long as everything with the inspections and stuff work out. And if you, at the end of the day, in 30 days, you decide, hey, I changed my mind, now that seller is going to be able to hold on to your deposit. But if you close that loan, that deposit goes back and it'll go towards closing costs. But if you don't have any closing costs, that money can go back to you. So down payment assistance. So most lenders require a down payment. The first loan I'm going to talk about, because most of my clients obviously is going to be veterans. I'm going to talk about the VA loan, and I'm going to run through these pretty quick. But if anybody have any questions, please make sure you're throwing questions in the chat. Please, if you have any personal experiences with home ownership or lending that you want to share, please put it in the chat. Because we want to hear and want to experience that with you, and want to be able to share knowledge to help people. She said, what is the deposit called? The deposit is just called earnest money deposit. So sometimes they may say EMD, sometimes they may say earnest money, but that's just the deposit. And again, the earnest money deposit can come back at the end, or it'll get rolled into your closing costs if you do have closing costs. So that money doesn't guarantee that you're going to lose it. It's just saying that I fully intend on buying this house as long as everything check out. So the VA loan is a loan for veterans. So all veterans have the VA loan. If you served, you have the VA loan. You don't have to retire to get it. It's a 100% guaranteed loan. So let me be clear. The VA loan is not a loan. The loan is going to come from whatever bank you decide to bank with to get the loan. The VA is just a government-backed security that says, if you default on this loan, the government is telling that bank, we will cover up to 100% of that loan if this person, I see Tamisha's name on the screen, if Tamisha default on this loan, we're going to give you Chase Bank 100% of whatever they default on. So because of that, they're going to give you you don't have to pay a down payment. And they also offer VA lower interest rates because they have that government backing up to 100%. The best loan, if you are a veteran and you have the VA loan, that is the best loan that you can utilize. So any questions on that?
I actually have a question about the VA loan, right? So you talk about regular traditional loans and VA loan, right? So can you break down the difference between a PMI and a VA funding fee?
Oh yeah, definitely. So pretty much every loan is going to have some type of funding fee associated with it. They're going to charge you money in order to process that loan. The VA funding fee is 2.3% of the loan amount, and that money gets rolled into that money will get rolled into the total loan amount. So let's say your loan amount is $200,000. That VA funding fee is going to get rolled, so it'll be about what's that, 200,000? I don't know, I can't do math right now. About $5,000 added to the backside of your loan. So that's the funding fee. If you are a veteran disabled, 10% disability, your funding fees are waived. So if you are getting out of the Navy or you are out of the Navy, make sure you let your realtor and your lender know that you have at least 10% disability, because you don't want to have to pay for something that you don't have to pay for. If you use that VA loan while on active duty a second time, your funding fee will increase to 3.6%, which is a significant amount, especially when you're in California and the base house price is going to be $600,000. But if you put 5% down, and I know I'm throwing out a lot of numbers and I'm not trying to confuse anybody, but if you put 5% down on that second loan, that money goes towards your principal, and your loan VA funding fee will decrease to 1.3%. So it's a significant savings if you have money to put down. But if you don't have money to put down, it's no big deal. That funding fee will just get tacked on the backside of your loan and increase your loan amount. And then you asked about what PMI is. PMI is private mortgage insurance. Basically, when you're not with the VA, so VA don't pay PMI because the government is securing that loan. But FHA, conventional loans, they're backed by Freddie Mac and Fannie Mae. So basically what they need is that security. So what you're doing is paying insurance on that loan. If you default on that loan, that private mortgage insurance is going to cover the rest of that loan. So most lenders, unless you put 20% down, they're going to require you to have PMI. Or if that house have 20% worth of equity, you can also petition to get that PMI.
So now I found my house, home of my dreams. You know, I established I'm going to use my VA to buy the home. But there's one problem with the house, right? I walk in there in the kitchen, and in the kitchen it's a white refrigerator, right? But I don't have the money to go out here and buy me whatever is in right now, whatever's trending. How will the VA cover that? Say if I wanted to do upgrades or something like that to my house?
So not for a white refrigerator, but if you do need additional funding, there is something called the VA renovation loan. And normally that's just a supplemental loan, additional loan that is also backed by the VA to bring that property up to standard. So yes, it's a yes. And it's called the VA renovation loan, and not everybody know it exists. So just make sure that if you do need that, you can just tell your lender, I'm interested in a VA renovation loan because I want to fix her upper. And they also do that with the FHA loan as well, which FHA is a Federal Housing Authority. It's only 3.5% down if you use that, but they also have a loan product that will allow you to fix up your house as well. You got any questions, Shereen, on VA?
On VA, do I have any questions? No, not on VA.
Yeah, or anything with
I
don't want to like go too
military, and I to the military no more. So we talking about us regular mortgages. I got a few questions.
Okay, so the second product that I want to talk about for zero down, and this is one of my favorite programs. It's called the NACA program, NACA. It's NACA. Let me see. I forgot what it stands for. Neighborhood Assistance Corporation of America. NACA is a great loan product for low income people just really trying to get into it. They actually have built their whole program is built. It's a national program, so it's everywhere in the country. Their entire program is built to help close the wealth gap. So they're expecting when people call them for them not to have a lot of money in the bank, to possibly have bad credit, for them to not really know much about the process. So they've put together a full program to help get you credit worthy, to help teach you, about how to get the money aside and help you. But they also give you money for your down payment. They give you money for your closing costs, and they'll also give you money for renovations if needed. And it's also one of the better loan products for non-veterans because their interest rates are typically 1 percentage point lower than the national average. So right now, NACA is running about a 5.3% interest rate, where nationally we're over 6% right now for interest rates on home loans. So NACA is a great program, and for anybody who's interested, look up NACA. They're gonna make you go through like some home buying programs and stuff like that, to make sure you understand the process. But they are set up
How
to
will I
hold
know
your
if I
hand through
qualify
that
for
process.
that program?
So normally it's 80% of 80. They don't want you to be, balling for the most part. But just call NACA. They're gonna go through. I'm sorry. Just call NACA. They'll look at your income and compare it to the median income for your area, and make sure that you meet those parameters. So that's what it's about. They don't want you to. They're not trying to just
Should
give
it
money
be
away.
something that's
So
up to
that's the
me, or
key
will it
to
be
NACA.
like something that I will work with my realtor, in doing?
So I'm NACA. There are certain, you have to be NACA certified in order to work with NACA. I'm a NACA certified realtor, but you can just call NACA. They're gonna set you up with realtor, but you may be far from really needing a realtor at the time, right? So they may look at your credit, they may look at your income and say, let me get you set up with a debt specialist. Let me get you set up with these people to help you get ready before they hand you over to a realtor. So when it comes to NACA, of course you can always call me, but you can also call NACA. They're there to help you. So a great program. A lot of people, it's very underutilized, but they are helping a lot of people across the country, and just share that information as much as you can, because they're a great program. The third area that I would recommend you go to is your county website. I looked up at San Diego and I looked up Atlanta. I didn't go through every county, but I'll tell you, just based off of me knowing and my experience, not all realtors, not all lenders are going to know down payment assistance programs in that area, because they don't study it. They change them all the time. They come from the housing authorities for your area, and also private companies also offer down payment assistance, normally for low income first time home buyers. But I'm sorry, I just lost my train of thought. But go to your county website. So San Diego, 2 days ago, they just released the Cal Dreamers program, where they're giving 20% down. Atlanta have programs that they're offering up to closing costs up to $7,500, down payment assistance up to $10,000. All can be used concurrently. They have private companies that are, and all you have to do is go. I wrote it down for you guys because I wanted to make sure I was giving the right information. But it's the Atlanta Housing Authority, atlantahousing.org, and also the California Housing Authority. Just Google it, or Google down payment assistance for San Diego or down payment assistance for Chicago. They're going to probably direct you to, and try to look for your local governing ordinance first before you go to private companies. But I'm sorry, I sound so technical right now. I don't want to sound technical, but I feel like I'm sounding pretty technical. But go to your county website, Google it, and figure out what programs are available. And then call your realtor and say, hey, I noticed that they're offering this. I want access to this. I need this. I want to use down payment assistance. And you kind of push your realtor to help you with that, because not everybody, realtors and lenders alike. And in San Diego, they actually have a list of lenders that they work with, saying like, if in order to work with this, you need to work with these lenders. I'm familiar with those lenders. I actively work with 2 or 3 of those lenders. But I'm pretty sure that, because they want to make sure lenders are familiar with those programs and they're familiar with the process. So if you're a brand new lender that don't have a lot of experience, they're probably not going to be on that list. So go to that county, figure out what they're offering. But I can tell you, pretty much every city in America have some type of down payment assistance program for underprivileged and low income people, because they're it's just out there. Just got to look for it. Fourth, and I'm gonna try to speed these 2 up because I feel like I'm getting pretty deep. But Bank of America, we talked about a couple of months ago on the WineDown, so I'm not going to go too deep in that. But Bank of America have a loan program that's zero down for minorities. But they've expanded that for everybody. But originally, it just said for minorities. But I think they started doing some backtracking because obviously, you know, who is their major demographic. Um, but they do have programs that is zero down. They're offering up to 3% down and down payment assistance, but then they have a conventional loan that take you down to 3%. So ultimately, that will make it a 0% down loan. Now, some of these loan down payment assistance programs, they'll give you the money, but when you sell the house, they'll take that money back. But it doesn't matter because you're still growing equity and you're still, you know, paying down where you wouldn't have had the opportunity before. But but some of them don't. Some of them are just offering grants to help you just kind of know what's going to work better for you and your situation. And then the fifth, I'm sorry, is Legacy Home Loans. So Legacy Home Loans is a Black-owned bank, and they just opened up this amazing product for minorities. They're definitely trying to help minorities close the wealth gap. So they only put their product in 6 different cities across the country. They made sure that those cities are majority minority, which obviously Atlanta is on that 6-city list. And they're offering 1% down, which is still really, really low, 1% down, but they're going to pay your appraisal fees, your inspection fees, closing costs, and they're also going to offer you assistance for credit repair specialists and hold your hand even after you buy your house. They're going to make sure that you have a plan and know how to continue to maintain that mortgage. So those are the 5 that we're talking about. But if you go to your county website, you will see a whole lot more.
So you brought up
you just may have to dig
inspections
deep
and
and do some
appraisals.
research.
How important are those inspections and appraisals? Because you know, some people, they out here, they're just slapping a new face on these houses, you know, in over gentrified areas, and you know, making them look pretty, but not really getting to the root of the problem. So how important are those inspections and appraisals for first-time buyers?
Well, I mean, I'll say this. During COVID, there was so many people
Right.
that was like, I don't need no inspection, you know, just trying to get a house. And they was waiving everything. And then they got into these houses and they was able to see like, my plumbing is jacked up. My roof is jacked up. And now I got a $10,000, $20,000 expense that was covered up with carpet and painted over the mold in the house. You know what I'm saying? So they're very important, and I would strongly recommend you do not waive those appraisal contingencies. You do not waive those inspection contingencies or finance contingencies, because those are going to be your out. If you go in under contract on a house and you
Right.
put your down payment on there, we talked about the down payment at the beginning, right? You have about 21 days to do your investigations, your inspections, get the house appraised before you can say, no, this ain't gonna work for me. Now, if you go past your timeline, the seller could acquire that deposit. But if you're inside of your timelines and that you realize the house don't work for you, you still have a time to get out. But if you waive that, you automatically, you know, it'll be hard for you to get your deposit back, because you can't say the house is bad because you told them you didn't care about the condition of the house
You know,
when you weren't under
that stuff
contract.
is not free. So do those types of things get rolled into the loan for the buyer? So you pay those up front. Okay.
No. Yeah, you'll pay those up front. And the prices range. Sometimes the appraisal will get rolled into the loan. It just depends on the lender. But you'll expect about $600 out here for the appraisal. And probably, depending on the size of the house, about $450
Smart
to
investment. I guess
$700
it can
for
save
the
you
inspection.
$20,000 in the long run, you know, that 600, you know, up front. So I agree with that. I can get down with that. Okay.
Trent, you got any questions?
Yeah. So just to backtrack just a little second, when you were talking about NACA, and of course, like let's say for instance in Georgia, I think we have like the Georgia Dream program, right? That also helps with a lot of those situations. Can you be in more than one of those types of programs, or like if you're in NACA, like you can only utilize those resources?
So you can go to talk to people so when I went on the website, they don't even advertise the dream up front, right? On the Atlanta, that was the Atlanta. I didn't look up Georgia. I was just looking up specific cities. But on the Atlanta Housing Authority, they didn't discuss the Georgia Dream program. So I hear that a lot. A lot of people talk about the Georgia Dream program, but I just want to make sure everybody know that there are other options out there other than the Dream. But I would talk to the Dream and talk to NACA and see which one is going to work best for you, because they're both going to have different stipulations and different things that, you know, so it don't hurt to see both. But if they're offering you money for down payment and somebody else already gave you that money, they're not going to allow you to double tap just to put money in your pocket. Does that make sense?
The Georgia Dream is like limited to certain county is as far as where you're purchasing. The other thing for non-owners like myself, what are some of the things that we can be doing now, even if we feel like you said, that it may not be obtainable right now? What are some of the things we can be doing to put ourselves in positions other than go ahead and contacting NACA, getting that information to start doing those seminars and home buyer programs? What are some other things that we can be doing to position ourselves for that?
So the biggest thing I would say is don't be scared to make a phone call, right? Don't be scared to call a lender, because I know, and for those of you who don't know, Trina is also, I know lately you've been working with doing credit specialist work, helping people fix their credit. But so that's going to be big. You definitely you can get qualified for different loan programs with a 580,000 credit score, but you're going to get better, interest rates if you're at about a 680 and definitely above 700, and even better if you're above a 750. So, if you don't have somebody that's helping you with your credit, or if you're not doing it yourself, call your lender. They're going to go through the process with you. They're going to run your numbers, and they're going to tell you exactly what you're going to need in order to qualify for the amount that you want. So if you want a house and you've been looking in the 200,000 range, your lender is going to look at your income, your debt to income, and they're going to say, you probably need to pay off this, that, and that before I can get you qualified. And if your credit is low, they're probably going to connect you with a credit specialist to help you also. But if you have somebody you are comfortable, writing the creditors and debtors and all that stuff on your own, but I would recommend you just making a phone call, talking to a lender, and really seeing what you need to do. Like, just because you call somebody doesn't mean that we're expecting you to close on that loan in 30 days. It may be a year and a half or 2 years before you're ready. But if you don't take those initial steps, all you're doing is kicking that bucket down the road. But when you do make that call, you instantly get a team behind you to help starting to prepare you. For
Can I say something to that too? Just to like preparing yourself, you set the goal, hey, I want to purchase this home. Just remember to give yourself grace, because it takes time. Understand that you're going to have to sacrifice some things, you know what I'm saying? Like going out or doing this or going on vacation. In order to get to that goal, you're going to have to make some life choices too. And monitor your credit, pay your bills on time, stuff like that. That helps, and it gets you in faster,
Paying your bills on time is key. Every time you pay late, you're going to get a ding. And depending on your credit score, that ding is going to hurt harder, but ultimately every time, if you got a phone bill, you just like, F that bill, I'm going to pay on the third, it's going to ding your credit every time. So I always say the first thing you got to do when you're looking to fix your credit is just start paying your bills on time. And I hate to say it, but if you don't make enough money, you might have to figure out a way to bring in more income that the lender can use in that loan. So if you are, self-employed, you got to make sure that you're keeping your books appropriately, because they can do bank statement loans, but they need you to see everything is properly running. They need to see the money coming in, the money coming out from that business. You need to be doing it right. But if that's the case, just you do it, because I can't think of another way for me to work hard, save hard, and be able to bring in $80,000 in 2 years. Like, I doing what I'm doing anyway. So if I have to grind out and sacrifice for 6 months to a year to put myself in position to do that, to me, I think that it's just worth it. I mean, it's almost like a no-brainer, you know? Drea said, do they charge for that type of call? No, it's part of our job. It's part of our responsibility to help, you know, understand. Our job is to educate people on the housing market as real estate professionals. I'm not a lender. So if you call me as your friend, I'm going to direct you to a lender that I know that does very well and that I trust. They're going to get deep into your finances, and then they're going to tell me like, hey, these are the steps that I'm going to say your name. These are the steps that Drea need to take. That way we can all work together to encourage you and motivate you to stick with your goals. But they're not going to say, girl, she got a 500 credit score. They're not going to say, girl, because at the end of the day, they're not there to embarrass you. They have a fiduciary duty, and so do I, to maintain, you know, respect, and to basically do the best thing for you as the client, not for us. So I'm not gonna push you into a $300,000 house when I know, you know, I'm not gonna try to force that on you. You know, I'm gonna try to encourage you to do some stepping stones. But if that's what you want and you qualify for it, I ain't gonna stop you. But I am going to advise you because I have a duty to do that. And I take that seriously. Most of the people that I work with do too. But to answer your question, no, they're not going to charge you for that phone call. No lender will. Now, I will say this. There are some lenders who may not give certain income amounts. And realtors, you know, they may not give you as much support because they may, you know, only deal with rich people, you know what I'm saying? So they may just be like, once you get this worked out, give me a call. But there are some people that are gonna say, let me hold your hand through the process. Let me make sure you, but you know, get what you need. So it just depends on who you're working with. But for the most part, you know, they're gonna give you the tools. They're gonna tell you what you need to do to be able to qualify for what you want.
So from the consumer side, like what are some of the things in a realtor that we should be looking for, like when we're the best real estate?
Yeah.
I mean, other than nature real estate. We know it's look no
First of all, I'm gonna just say, you know, I ain't gonna
From
lie. You probably want to look for somebody with some dreads. You know what I'm saying?
Like,
They
it's
probably
other
need some dreads. No.
it's some more people out there.
They probably gonna, you know, need to look like me. No. Really, I think it's connection, right? This is one of the most important things that you're gonna do in your life. One of the biggest purchases. So you want to be able to be honest with this person. You're going to want to be able to cry with this person, be frustrated with this person. So when you talk to the realtor, you want to make sure that they are real estate professionals. They are realtors, meaning they are locked in with the local association, not just a real estate agent, because it's going to be hard to really make deals. So if I'm me, I go to these meetings every week, so I'm naturally making deals. So when my contract come in, you know, they know me. So you kind of want to talk to somebody who is an established professional, but also somebody that you can trust, you feel comfortable with when you're talking to them, and you truly feel like they have your best interest at heart. Because it's not, for everybody, it's not a cut and dry, easy process. There may be some frustrations, like you may go through a transaction and then like you fell in love with this house, and then you come to find out something is wrong in the inspection, and it's devastating, it's heartbreaking. Like there's a lot of emotions, and then you're talking about a $500,000 investment in some cases, even more or less, but it's a lot of money.
Right.
And you getting ready, you doing everything, you about to put $10,000 down. Like, it's stressful. So you really want to make sure that whoever you're with is a professional, but it's somebody that you feel comfortable with and you can connect
that relationship
with,
is definitely important, because they're in your business, right? They know your most vulnerable part, which is, you know, finances. You know, a lot of people don't want to share that with everybody. So, you know, it's important to feel comfortable. I agree with that. Oh, I remember.
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie, I had to fire my realtor.
Yeah.
Strange enough, because we ended up moving in with her, girl, in the middle. So I was a licensed realtor. I had done a couple of transactions, but I was trying to get more experience. So I locked in with this realtor who was, yeah, I've been in the industry 15, 20 years, blah, 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 right? So I'm like, well, I want you to sell my house. I'm going to buy a house, and I want to be
She
able to
was trash.
learn more from you. Girl, she was so trash. She was so trash. Like, I would ask her to ask questions. She was intimidated.
Yeah.
I was asking very questions about the inspection, just different stuff. And she did not perform. She didn't want to ask tough questions. She just wanted me to sign paperwork and keep it moving, because a lot of people operate that like that. They're not comfortable pushing an envelope in your best interest. They want you to sign the paperwork and keep it moving. And I ended up doing whatever I needed. I ended up firing her, and I was like, I'm not buying that house, the house that I have now, Trina. I'm not buying it. I don't want it because I don't trust her, and I don't trust the product that I'm about to get. So we ended up selling my house. I had to move in with Angel for a few weeks. I locked in with the agent that was selling this house, and we ended up getting the deal closed because I ended up trusting him, and we got the information. But yeah, not all realtors are alike, and they will sell you. Like sometimes I've been doing this for 25 years, but have you been doing it though? Have you been licensed for 25 years, or have you been actively doing real estate for 20? It's a difference, and you'll be able to tell. Like, look them up, look at their social media, see if they have any past sales, previous sales, recent sales. And see what they've been doing recently, and you'll kind of know.
What are some of the
Any
common
other questions?
pitfalls you see from new home buyers, like things that they do that just basically sabotage themselves, or just what we should avoid?
Girl, so when you are ready to buy a home, all your credit has to stop. So using your credit cards has to stop. A lot of the things that go wrong is you get this house, you get under contract, the lender went through your numbers and said you were good to go, and then you quit your job, you go and you try to go and buy all new appliances on your Home Depot credit card, you go try to buy a new car before you close, and when that lender goes through those preliminaries of 72 hours or a week before the actual closing, and they're going to see that, and that can cancel and kill the whole deal. And then not only do you lose the house,
you got some more dings on your credit report now.
Deposit too. So
yeah. Yeah.
Now it got more dings. So it may be hard for you to get a loan now to try to go under contract with another house. You said, can I use it to buy a new car? I ain't fooling with you. I mean, so no new car. No. When you are serious about buying that house, don't do nothing. It's time to kill the credit. It's time to kill the credit. It's time to just focus on this house. That's the goal. And that's
that's her. You recognize that person?
Miss Charlene, and she person. Hey, Miss Charlene. Yeah. She said, as a realtor, are you licensed to work in different states? Well, I am. You have to get licensed in that state particularly in order to work it. But there's a lot of states that have what's called reciprocity. So the process is very easy to get licensed. So like California is reciprocity with Georgia. So all I have to take is like a 50-question test on Georgia specific to get licensed. But some lenders are like me. I'm with a national brokerage, so I can help anybody in any state. I just can't answer state specific questions, but I'm connected with realtors in that state that is also along with my national
trying to get
brokerage.
You to come to Chicago. You know how you trying to get me to come to Tampa? She's trying to get you in Chicago, girl.
Girl,
so with all the 5 things that we talked about, right? With any of these programs, can we use those programs to like purchase investment properties and things like that, or second homes?
No. um, so these programs and most lending programs outside of the 20% conventional, they're gonna be for people who are using these programs as their primary residence. But that doesn't mean you have to stay in this house forever. The goal is 2 years, but if the military move you or whatever the case may be, you have to move for job purposes or whatever, and you have to move, you have to move. So if you have a VA loan and you get orders to San Francisco 6 months after you bought that house, and you have to move, and you can rent that house out. And then if you have more eligibility on your VA, I didn't even talk about this, but if you have a VA loan and you have more eligibility on that loan, so for instance, California, San Diego's loan limit is up to $930,000. So if you bought a house for $400,000 or $200,000 in another state, and you move out here, you're likely to have $600,000 or $700,000 in eligibility, which means the government is still going to back whatever loan up to that amount that you have remaining. So you can use that VA loan multiple times on the same certification. So I just want to put that out, depending on your eligibility. So call me, I'll help you figure it out.
Right. There you go.
But the key is call me, you know what I mean? But no, for real. But if you bought a house, FHA, NACA, any of those programs, and you end up moving, you can use this house and rent it out and go buy another house with the FHA loan, VA loan, whatever you qualify for. You're not just stuck. Some of these programs are for first-time home buyers. First-time home buyers means you don't own a home for 3 years. So it doesn't necessarily mean this is the first house of your life. It just means that you haven't owned a home for at least 3 years. And then you can go and use first-time home buyer programs again in most cases. But so some of these are for first-time home buyers only. But like FHA, VA, conventional down to 3%, they're just for primary residence users. So you'll be able to buy a second home with them. If I have a loan in good standing, how long will I be able to qualify for a second loan for income property? That's really up to you and your income, right? If you have good credit and your income can support it, talk to a lender, and the lender will let you know what you would need to qualify. But if you're living in that primary home and you're looking to buy a secondary home for investment, expect to pay at least 20% down, and in some cases 25% down, depending on your credit worthiness and how that lender feels. So just expect to pay a larger amount down if you're using it for an investment, because it's higher.
Send me again. Can't be great. Okay. Back up, Mia. Oh my goodness. That's funny.
Gotta go on mute, girl. I gotta go on mute.
Let me see. What
Any other questions
did I have? No.
Trina, no questions?
No, it was good. I took a lot of notes. Right here on my top three was find another military sugar daddy. Number 2, it said that I gotta stop all credit, but I can still afford my Taylor port. So that's hope.
Hey, if you don't get nothing out of this, but only thing I want everybody to get out of it is it's possible. It doesn't matter where you're starting at. It's possible, and it's really one of the fastest ways to build wealth. If you look at any millionaire or above, all of them have a real estate in their portfolio, because it's pretty much one of the safest bets. It doesn't matter if you own a house. It don't matter what's happening with the market going up and down, Great Depression, whatever. As long as you keep paying your bill, your mortgage, guess what? You still got a house, at the very least. But with the decline that we have in housing, like countrywide, we are 4.1 million houses below what we need. And because we have such a lack of inventory, the houses prices are just rising. The government tried to control it by raising the interest rates. But what happened, especially in San Diego, was people just said, well, I'm just not going to sell. If people ain't going to pay the price I want to pay, I'm not going to sell. So what happened was the supply continued to drop, even lower than it already was. The supply dropped, and guess what? The prices leveled out a little bit. Like they went down a little bit, but for the most part now they're back on the rise. So it's a great way to build wealth. You're gonna be paying it anyway. Matter of fact, you are paying it anyway. You're paying it for somebody else. And not only are you paying their mortgage, you're probably paying money to put in their pocket too. So you're paying more than that mortgage amount, and you're not getting the tax benefits, you're not getting the loan pay down or the equity gain from it. So it's possible for you. You just got to take the action and just want it, and know that even if you have to sacrifice and work hard for a year and a half, 2 years to make it work, think about it. Me and Angel both have the same story. It's funny because we lived across the street from each other then and now, but we both in 2 years made a significant amount and really started to build our portfolio where wealth is concerned. So she said, how can I pay my loan off early, or is there such a thing? Oh man. Hey,
let me write this down.
A hack, right? We call it a hack. Mathematically, if you pay one additional loan amount, mortgage payment a year, one additional mortgage payment a year to your principal, you're going to pay that house off about 7.5 years earlier if you're using a 30-year conventional loan. So if you have a 30-year loan and you plan on staying in that house, if you can budget or put aside, use your tax, whatever the case may be, to pay an additional 1%, because what's happening is you're paying into that principal. So all those interest rates, that's going to factor in, and that's going to help it. So the average is about 7.5 years, you save, if you just pay
I need to write that down
one
myself.
mortgage
That's the jewel
payment
right
extra
there.
a year.
Little gem. Right.
Yeah, it's a little gem for you. Anybody, anything else?
No more questions. Yeah.
All right, then. Well, shoot, I had fun tonight. I'm sad that this is our last one. I almost want to put something together.
It's so hard to say.
Nah, no, it's not. It's not a goodbye. It's just a later. And when we come back, it's gonna be so much better. Like we I definitely want to just do some revamping. We want to figure out a way to bring it to you better, and that's what it's all about. We want to be a value to everybody that's taking the time, to listen to us every week for an hour. I hope that you've grown. We got a lot of testimonies in this last 6 months. Like, it's been well beyond what I could have imagined. Like, some of the calls that I've gotten, people, new jobs, raises, just because, starting new businesses, graduating, buying houses, getting the pre-approvals for houses. Like, man, it's been overwhelming, and they've accredited it to just being a part of this support system that we've built with the WineDown community. And, it's been an honor for me to be. So I just want to make it better. That's really what I want to do. I want to be able to center myself and create a better program, even better than it is now, because it can be. Amen. And bring it to you guys. So that's what we're stopping for.
Amen.
Call for the call.
I know.
Well,
I hope I get invited back, y'all.
Catch y'all in a few months.
Hey,